Hey guys, how are you doing? I hope you're all well. I'm recording this on a blooming miserable and wet afternoon. It is about 3:30. I've got my light on. I've got my ring light on to make me look gorgeous. So if you're watching on YouTube, you will see. But it's really a bit dark and dismal. And I do feel like it kind of went from kind of summer. It was really warm. It was really lovely to oh, I don't. I like autumn. I don't like it when the clocks change and it gets really dark really early. And all I want to do is sit in front of the telly and kind of stuff my face. So if you're feeling like that, I hear you. And it's not sad. It's not seasonal affective disorder. Mine is just kind of like that. I think when it gets dark and it's cold, I get this kind of like cuddle feeling in me. And I just want to light the fire, get my blanket out, and drink really kind of warm drinks and stuff. I've had a lovely kind of hot chocolate. It's a take on a hot chocolate. If you have a look at my stories, you'll probably be able to see the brand that I use. It's called a company called Sweet Bee, and it has like mushrooms in it, chaga and things like that. So it's not super sweet, and it has benefits. Kind of helps boost your mood and your brain function. But I really like that. But I don't really drink it in the summer. And then as soon as kind of the clocks change and it gets all wet and cold, that's it. I'm like finding out all these lovely warming drinks. So that's what I've been sustaining myself on this afternoon, ready for this podcast. So hopefully my brain's functioning. And I don't know how many times I have said this on the podcast, but this wasn't the episode that I was planning to bring you. And then this week, I'm running a little bit late again. So thank you, Ben, for editing really quickly. And I'm running a little bit late again. And I was thinking about ideas for the podcast, and I've got quite a few kind of mulling around my head, but I need to put them down on paper and get them sorted before I start. And this came to me over the last couple of days. I'm like, this is the one that I need to do. So today we're going to be talking about early signs of perimenopause. So last week as I'm recording this morning had another kind of menopause awareness few events. They've got a menopause bus traveling around the country. I'm not exactly sure where it is, but pop onto the website if you want to access that. But my friend sent me a link to an interview with Eva Speakman. Now, the Speakmans are kind of like the mental health specialists. They help people get over if they've got blocks. They do a lot of work with people if they've got fears and things like that. So it was about those. And she was talking about her journey in early perimenopause. And it really resonated with me. And I thought, I need to do this for my listeners, really, because I haven't really done an episode like this. I've kind of glistened over it a little bit, but I haven't done an episode like this. So today we're going to be talking about the early signs of perimenopause, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight into how it kind of manifested itself for me as well. So firstly, what I want to say is that it might surprise you to know that if somebody comes to me, or if I talk to somebody and they say, I'm not really sure if I'm in perimenopause, I'm 39, 40, 41, 42. My answer is, yes, you are. And they kind of stop and look at me a bit. And it's generally, I don't literally just approach everyone who's 40 and say, by the way, you're in perimenopause. It's because there is a reason. It's because they have spoken to me about a host of symptoms that they are experiencing and then followed up with a caveat, I'm not sure. And my answer is if you are experiencing any kind of hormonal imbalancey type symptoms from the age of sort of late 30s, I would just assume that you are in the start of perimenopause. Now, perimenopause can last 10 years plus. I think we really underestimate how long it can last. Now, please don't panic. That doesn't mean that you're going to be experiencing all of the symptoms for the whole 10 years, let's say. But what it does mean is that if you're prepared for this, then you will understand kind of how that might progress. So if after listening to this podcast, you are going, actually, maybe I am, that's okay. It's fine. Don't panic. But if you're sitting there going, I definitely not, I'm having all these symptoms, but I haven't got night sweats and I haven't got an irregular period, I have news for you. Night sweats and irregular periods are actually some of the later symptoms of perimenopause, or can be some of the later symptoms of perimenopause. So don't panic. But I think it's really important to be prepared and to be knowledgeable. It's not just 6 months or a year. It is for some people, but 60% of women will experience perimenopause symptoms that they can alleviate or moderate through diet and lifestyle changes. And that is what I'm kind of backing. That's what I'm an ambassador for. 20% of women will have no symptoms at all, and 20% of them will have awful symptoms and will need to go on HRT, and will, and unfortunately that might not even help them. But for the majority of us, we can do an awful lot to help ourselves. So do listen to all of my other podcast episodes. If you are listening to me first, then this is the subject of all my podcast episodes. So I'm not necessarily going to give you loads of tips on how to manage those symptoms. What I really want to do today is kind of get into your head a little bit and make you think perhaps slightly differently, and start you to be more prepared, and start for you to be more in control. Because I think if you know and you understand, then you are more in control. So what are the early signs of perimenopause? Now, for many women, the early signs of perimenopause are more mental. They're not physical. They are mental. They are emotional. So park the hot flushes and park the irregular period. That is something quite physical. And actually, it can be kind of a time where you just don't feel yourself. The thing is for many women in that kind of age, and this was true for me, and this is why I'm recording this now and sharing with you, is, when I kind of got to my early 40s, I was in a really stressful time at work. Things weren't going the way I really wanted them to. And I put all of my symptoms down to the trouble, shall we say, the tough time that I was having at work. I was running my own business with my brother. We were co-directors, and we were not getting on, and we wanted different things from the future. And I now realize that some of what I was carrying around with me made that worse. That's not to say that the situation wasn't real, but I now realize that actually that some of the way I was feeling was actually making it worse for me, whereas I was just assuming that it was that job. And this is what I often hear from women, is that, I'm super stressed because I've got young kids. Maybe you've got elderly parents that are ill. Maybe your partner's not well. It might be that you're in like a really, you're at the height of your career. You're at the height of your career ladder climbing. So you've got that dream job, and now you need to prove to everyone that you can do that dream job, and you're exhausted. And the conversation that I had so often is like, if I could just get a good night's sleep, if I could just get a bit of rest, I know I'd feel okay. And actually what I'm saying to you is maybe the fact that you're not getting sleep and not feeling rested is driving that stress rather than the other way around. And so when you then start to reevaluate that and think, what can I do to improve my sleep, my rest, the food that I'm eating, all of these things around me, what can I do to improve that? Then you start to feel better, and the situation doesn't go away, but you can cope with it slightly better. What I really would suggest is you find a place to help you. So there are loads of menopause cafes throughout the UK. It's a growing kind of thing. It is an actual organisation, the Menopause Cafe. If you have one near you, go. Talk to other women. They will understand. The more we talk, the more we will understand. Talk to your family as well. Tell them, I'm just feeling really sad right now. It's a little bit like having permanent PMT sometimes. Tell your family you're feeling a bit sad. You're not feeling yourself, so that they understand. Tell them you think you might be in perimenopause. This is a hormone fluctuation. I might be a little bit irrational. It's not an excuse. It's a fact. Go and listen to Wendy's podcast. She will tell you. And also, I would really encourage you to come and join my free club. So I have a free club on Facebook. It's called Fab Female Nutrition. Yes, just like the podcast. And I created it because I am a female hormone expert, and I wanted to have a place where women could hang out and ask questions and kind of get support. And we get all sorts of questions around, you can come in and ask me questions around supplements, about how you're feeling. It's very much food-based because that's where I feel happiest. But I love my kitchen, I love cooking, but I will also explain to you why those foods are going to help you. But there's lots and lots and lots of resources on there. We have some coaching calls as well. So please do reach out and connect with me. I have plenty of free resources that will help you. To go to Fab Female Nutrition on Facebook, and it's a really safe place, and you can just share, offload, ask for advice and support. But sometimes it's just about being with another group of women who kind of understand what you're going through and get it. And we are all at different stages. So some of the ladies in there are post-menopause, but they still choose to come in there because, we all have hormones throughout our life. And so if we can support those hormones naturally, even if you're in early signs of perimenopause or if you're post-menopause, this will help you. It will make you feel healthier, give you more energy, give you more sleep, give you more vitality, because you deserve to feel fabulous. That's it for this week. I've got another solo next week. Next week, I'm going to be talking about kind of cost saving, kind of budget savings. We're all struggling at the minute. Everybody I speak to is talking about, the hiking prices in food and in energy levels and energy prices. And we're all worrying about it a little bit. So next week, we're going to do a bit of a budget friendly episode. So I'll see you next week. Stay safe. Love you all. Bye.